Welcome back, everybody. This is JP Trades. Let's take a look at XRP. This is going to be a bit more of a day trade plus swing trade style setups, as I don't really take a lot of scalp trades on altcoins as much as I do Bitcoin and futures. So let's dive into more of a macro outlook first. Let's take a look at some volume inside this large range. We can see that we, of course, after this massive dump, took out all the liquidity down here. This is just a massive wick that cleared out the charts. Like all of these levels are no good now. However, sometimes if you disregard this wick, you can still use these levels as they hold volume from all the volume traded over here. So as far as market structure goes, this low pretty much wiped out all of the structure. So it kind of makes structure a little wonky following structure like this, and this having your low into the next high and so on and so on. However, if we can just make a clear distinction that we have a very large range here, we traded up outside of fair value, and then we started this massive downtrend. So we are still in a downtrend. Looking at the volume in this range, we can see that we deviated from the value area. However, we have already reclaimed it and working our way back up to this point of control. So the first short, other than the one that we have already snagged already, we are rejecting from this order block now, or I guess rather yesterday. Had a nice short from it. However, what is my next swing short would be from this area here. Why? Because to continue this downtrend, and we're just going to kind of take this big wick out of the scenario, okay? So this is what I would be paying attention to continue the downtrend. That's what I would envision. This is how I would see it coming down to continue this. So it would be very nice if we could come back to this point of control, knock out all these high volume areas, and then continue down. So this would be my first area that I would like to see a nice market structure shift in to continue this downtrend and to target that low. So let's go ahead and take this volume off the chart now that we kind of know where we are at. And let's do some little local volume pulls. Let's take one from the low. So we do see that we are reclaiming this value area low here again. So I am still looking for this point of control to get hit next. So this is the most logical short zone here. Other than that, I would want to see a potential SFP of this high here and the value area high, both. So it would be a very quick wick into this zone here with these high time frame volume levels, knock those levels out, or you take these levels out and SFP into this high here. However, if we do take this high, I'd want to see a very shallow SFP, or I'd want to see it come all the way up into this area, or even up here and make one of these style wicks, a very, very massive wick, and come back down and trade below this low. So let's put that on the chart, a very quick wick, an SFP this high. Let's take a look at this larger range from the high down to this low. Yeah, taking this high would be also tapping in to your last supply zone that broke down very, very hard, as well as your golden pocket. And let's take a look from the bottom up. You do have the golden pocket here, but again, you have zero volume here. So in my opinion, if you start trading below this low, you either need a very quick SFP and regain that low, or you're just going to fall right through. So let's go down some time frames and take a look at this local range right here. It's not quite a range just yet. However, it could come down here and confirm that range. Yeah, so I do like this a lot as well. Go ahead and move that off the screen. So what I do like is this level here, as well as coming out and taking an SFP of this low and have a nice wick taking out all these areas here. Or it could just kind of grind on down a little slower and actually give you a nice market structure shift without that SFP action happening. And I would also be looking for that very shallow SFP here. So let's clean this up just a bit. So again, we have this nice short here, as well as here. And then SFP of these highs here into this area and back in. So that is what I'm looking at for my day trades and even day trades to turn into swing trades on XRP. Now, as far as your market structure, yeah, if we flip below this low, you really want to see an SFP here. Otherwise, I feel like you're just going to rocket back down and take this low here into this order block. Which again would be a great trade if you could catch this order block with this daily and your SFPing that low. Let's go back to the daily time frame really quick. So yeah, this high here is going to be your high to break on the daily. So this high. So this is going to be a pretty important high right here. Let's go ahead and mark that out. This will be your daily time frame pending market structure shift. Let's write bullish on there. And of course, if we break this low, obviously very bearish. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave you. These are the setups explained. And again, set your alerts at each level so you can be alerted when price gets there. Be patient and wait for your confirmations.